Hello everyone, what is going on? It's your girl Cobbs, and a lot has happened in the Pathologic universe lately. With all this new stuff coming out, I've been a bit behind the ball on really looking into everything IPL has given us and talking about it. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because we have a lot to cover, but today I want to go through the politics trailer, dive into any of the little tiny nuances and Easter eggs that are in it, and just give, honestly, just my opinions. I love Pathologic. I am by no means an expert, but what I do want to do with this video is make some kind of digestible content for some of the newer fans to the series that are like, what is going on? As I'm sure a lot of you know, Pathologic is really great and very deep and very just philosophical. And part of the Pathologic experience is getting to the level where you understand some of the philosophies of the game. So I'm not trying to take that away from the newer players, but what I do want to do is open the door a little bit and kind of show them in the direction that I think the game and IPL is trying to take us. I just want to make it a little understandable. And with us finally having a release date for Pathologic 3, I figured this was a perfect time. So we are going to start this adventure together by starting with the politics trailer and diving into what is going on in this trailer, what are they showing us, what are they not telling us, and what this could mean for Pathologic 3. Quick side note, I did start a second channel recently for more of the pathologic and horror content. And then throughout the craziness of Q4, if you work in corporate America, if you know, you know, I just realized I don't have time for two channels. I thought I was going to be able to do more with it. I really don't have the marbles for it. So we're just going to focus on this one for now and just keep all of the Cobbs content in one place. One more piece of housekeeping business. If it sounds like I'm sick, it's because the southeastern United States got a cold front for the first time this year, and I am feeling it. But I'm feeling a lot better. My throat is just doing what it's doing. So I'm sorry if I sound bad, but I feel fine. Hopefully it's not too much of a distraction. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get into it. Need coffee for this. So again, to preface, for those of you who are wondering what the deal is with these trailers, our dear Bachelor is going to have 3 different roles within the town. Some of them are more obvious, some of them not as obvious. As we know, he takes control of the town at some point, so the politics trailer or the politician trailer is alluding to his role as essentially someone managing the politics of the town. As I'm sure you've seen, there's also a time travel trailer, I believe, or time traveler trailer, and a plague doctor trailer. So we're covering all of our bases here, but we're going to start with the Bachelor as a politician. Hold on. I already know it's coming. No, go back. Okay. For those of you who are newer to the franchise and maybe didn't play Pathologic Classic, or even if you did play Classic, but not a lot of it, like myself, Eva Darling is a very important character. She is Dr. Dankovsky's guide to the town. She is his confidant. I think she's really easy to miss in Classic, and I say this because I've played through most of the Bachelor's route in Classic. I know I need to finish, but by the time you know what happens, not spoiling it, I just was not that invested in her. Like I had spent most of my time with the Sobrovs at that point. Maybe I thought I was playing a Clara simulator. I don't know. But I just really was not that invested with her as a character. So I do think one thing Pathologic 3 is going to do here is instead of giving the player, I think the player is going to have all of the freedom in the world to choose the direction they want to take Dankovsky. But I do think they're going to give little nudges here and there, like a nudge in the direction of Eva, and are going to prioritize that relationship between these two characters and make it more of a focal point, versus in Classic, I personally found it pretty easy to miss. So be on the lookout for Eva.
During the plague, a mad doctor became the mayor of the town, but was halting every clock in the city a rational order? Daniel Dankovsky arrived in a city.
I'm gonna turn the Russian subtitles off. I'm sorry, I didn't realize those were on.
Did not know. And by the 3rd day, he had taken over the hospital and even the town hall.
This is more of a nerd piece. This isn't as much of a, this is what this means. But one thing, I recorded this video a while back and then forgot to turn the filters on the mic. So it was essentially just could hear my mouse moving around the entire time. So I'm essentially re-recording this. But in between then and now, I did some research on something. So they're saying by the 3rd day,
from the third day.
Yeah, by the third day, he's taken over the town, which is interesting because in the demo, what happens is, work with me here. What happens is on day 5, I believe, they're all stuck in the town hall, I believe. I forget the exact building location. I believe it's Sabrov there who lets Dankovsky out of jail because apparently he had tried to escape and was like, dingus, if you had just taken over the town like we asked you to, this probably wouldn't have happened. All these important people, myself included, wouldn't be stuck in this building with a rampaging plague outside. Essentially, that part of the game functions as the tutorial for the, oh my god, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it, the little device. It's the, I think it's something that you find from the Capitol, but, or you develop in the Capitol, but it's the plague disperser. I'm sorry. The name will be on screen. I don't remember it right now, top of mind. I've been awake for an hour. But anyways, that part of the game serves as a function, like a tutorial of that device, because you have to use it to go from beacon to beacon to beacon to beacon to light the fires that also ward off the plague, and then tell the people outside of the quarantine zone, hey, there are people, or outside of the plague district, there are people in this building, you need to come help us. It also provides a little bit of lore in terms of having to light all of the beacons versus just one of them. I don't know if that'll come to play later, but I think it'd be cool if it did. Anyway, so what's interesting is that all happens on day 5, and the game makes a huge point of being like, if you had just taken over the town like we asked, this wouldn't have happened. And so it's cool that in this introductory of when Dankovsky takes over the town, it's like, oh, what, this happened on day 3. But in the demo, we saw, I think, a consequence of if you choose day 3 to be like, no, fuck off. Day 5, you get put in this situation where, God, Vlad Jr. takes over the town. And he's like, brother, I don't know what I'm doing either. And everyone's like, if you were just taking over the town like we asked. So it's a little on the nose watching this now and then looking back on the demo and like looking through the dialogue in that part. Anyways, that's my rant on that. We can continue watching. It's just kind of cool.
Taken over the hospital and even the town hall. From there, he issued orders that changed the city day by day.
I'm not going to stay on this super intensely, but in Classic and in Pathologic 2, you have to manage hunger, thirst, at some points infection, immunity, a lot of these survivability factors. And that is part of what makes the game very difficult. It's a resource management game at one of its cores, right? But in Pathologic 3, you aren't going to have the hunger meters. You're not going to have the thirst meters. And for me personally, that worried me a little bit because I was like, how is the game going to be difficult? How are they going to account for like the difficulty you feel in Pathologic 2 and in Classic? Because at some points in those games, you're like, I get the plot's trying to happen, but I'm going to starve to death. So I have to stop what I'm doing to go get food. And going and finding food at some points is like a game of luck. So I guess I was worried with Pathologic 3 that they weren't including that, but I do see that there are some metrics in Pathologic 3 that I do think will make up for not having the hunger and thirst meters, and I think this is one of them. As you can see here, we have, I mean, this is just very clearly resource management, right? We have these resources here: rations, equipment, fuel, medicaments, patrolmen, orderlies, and all of these different potential decrees that we can put into town that will affect the civil unrest of the town, as we've been told several times, like the town's not going to love what you're doing, plus balancing that with the rise of the contagion. So obviously, you know, just quarantining everyone here would pretty severely decrease the contagion, but would cause a good bit of unrest. The water filtration, thankfully that doesn't cause as much unrest, it looks like. But you also have to balance that with, okay, that's going to take 10 patrolmen and 100 fuels. So like my brain is like boggled by this. I'm so excited to get into it. There's also the apathy meter where you're balancing that with, I would say mania. I don't remember what the other side of it, what they call the other side of it. I want to say it's mania, but I could be wrong. But you're also balancing that. So like there's a lot more than just this when it's going to come to the resource management of the game. But it's really cool to see that they're still including some, or I'd say a large degree of resource management that you're going to have to deal with. There's also, oh my gosh, there's also the time travel bit where you can collect amalgam pieces to use to time travel, which is your like main function of solving the events of the game, right? So there's also that, and I have more to say on that. We'll get there when we get there.
From there, he issued orders that changed the city day by day. As a doctor, he demanded water be filtered, entire families quarantined, infected hunted door to door, and daily he commanded injections by force.
This is what I wanted to talk about. So, in the quarantine thought piece of this game, right? Pathologic 3 Quarantine, one of the mechanics introduced to you is, oh, you need to time travel. You have all these drugs, which again, more resource management, but you have all these drugs. There's someone who's clearly going to die of the plague here. If you can give them the right concoction of drugs, because some of them will raise that meter and others will lower it, right? Like talking about this meter right here below this sick person. If you can give them the right concoction of drugs that has that white bar land between these two white bars here, other white bars, then this person will have a peaceful and painless passing, and that will add to your time travel ability, right? That's such a cool idea, especially considering Dankovsky is someone who has said he is fighting death, like his opponent is death. For those who don't know, I don't remember. Oh, he's a thanatologist. He's a thanatologist. He studies thanatology, which is the study of death, I think. Not dying. He's trying to defeat death. That's like a big part of his character. So it's interesting that his ability to save the town is in part funded. His ability to save the town by time traveling is funded, for lack of a better term, by him allowing people a peaceful passing into death. I find that really interesting. But another thing, this is the main point I wanted to bring up here. You also have to find a vaccine every day. And that was something that's been touched on in Quarantine, as well as Pathologic 3, I believe. I'll have to go back and check. But you will have to find a vaccine every day to keep the healthy people alive, because the plague is mutating every day. So the same vaccine that worked yesterday isn't going to work today. And so, unfortunately, you got to test that on someone, and it looks like he tests it on sick people. And so it's interesting that both of those mechanics are going to revolve around interacting with already sick people who are like lying dying on the ground. And I wonder if the town is going to react the same, because they don't like that you're injecting their friends and family with just random drugs. Fair enough. But I wonder if they're going to react the same way to you easing someone's passing as to you testing vaccines on someone. Or if you will even be testing the vaccines on already sick people. Maybe this was just a convenient place to put this footage in the trailer, but I don't think so. I think you're going to be testing it on sick people. I think that's even been said at some point, but I wonder if they're going to react the same to both of those pieces, right? Okay, anyways.
Force. The people didn't appreciate that. Tension grew.
Why does IPL hate children? This is going to be like one of many children we are going to see hung. What is their beef with kids?
A riot loomed. And yet, he was surprisingly effective. Rationing, propaganda teams, curfews, public...
Is that Grace? What's the issue they got with Grace? I get Khan to a degree because he's a child of one of the big three families. Grace is just talking to dead people. What's the issue with Grace?
Executions of looters, and an orchestra marching through the streets and playing cheerful tunes.
This seemed like such... No, Jesus. This seemed like such an interesting thing to include. I'm sure that's just one of many random decrees that we'll be able to do to, like, maybe lower unrest, but probably, like, raise contagion a little bit. And this is on day 11. Look up there. That's on day 11. I just noticed that. And like at the end of day 11. If you don't know, Pathologic has 12 days that you're allowed to solve this plague. In Pathologic 2, and in Classic, I believe, I don't remember off the top of my head for Classic, but in Pathologic 2, that the in-game explanation that is given is, hey, they're going to nuke this town on day 12 if you don't figure this out. And so you're given this timeline. So it's interesting that we have a parade on day 11, like at the end of day 11.
You will see every consequence. Crowds at the water pumps, children cut off from their families, and thousands of lives saved. But what I don't understand...
That's the little device I was talking about earlier, a little shh, you know. Also, it's kind of funny. He's like, and what I don't understand, he just shows a step woman in a bowl in some kind of sacrifice situation. This could be, oh, this is on day 3. Never mind. This isn't when he arrives. This is on day 3. The investigators, and what I don't understand is what the fuck is happening here. I just think it's funny how that lined up. But I do want to say one thing this trailer is highlighting too is one of what I believe is the Bachelor's like main themes in this game, which is like, you are probably the most qualified person to deal with this. But the people in this town, while also giving you the responsibility of it, are going to fight you every step of the way. I think in Pathologic 2, especially fans who are coming from Pathologic 2 that haven't really played a lot of Classic and don't know a lot about Dankovsky, is that Artemy is very much like this hero returning to town, obviously not the first few days. But once it's settled, oh, you didn't commit patricide, very cool. People do what they can to help Artemy for the most part. Both sides of the town, the steppe people, the townspeople, like the Kanes, the Sabrovs, the Olgimskis, they all, for the most part, want Artemy to succeed. Whereas with The Bachelor, like, everyone's like universally like, yes, you're probably the person who should deal with this problem. But also, why are you dealing with it in the way that you are? Like, they like fight this man every step of the way. And so that is, I think, a very interesting difference between these two characters, is that Artemy is very much this main character type thing. And Bachelor is too. He is the main character of his game, don't get me wrong. But people are like, I get that you know what you're doing, but like, do you? Like, it's crazy. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Is this? Why stop all the clocks? It's hard to explain what happens in Pathologic 3. You have to feel
Okay,
it.
little mini rant. Oh, hello, lady. A little mini rant. So he's saying, right, it's hard to explain what happens in Pathologic 3. You just have to feel it. Which granted, I don't think a lot of us have experienced like, oh, I am walking into a small town of these backwater idiots, and now there's a plague, and for some reason they want me to solve it, but they also want me to solve it their way, and I'm very confused, but I'm going to do my best. Like, we haven't all experienced that IRL, but I think we've all like walked into a situation where we somehow found ourselves with a little more responsibility than maybe we would like, and we're like very overwhelmed by it, or maybe we are doing our best, and for some reason, no matter what we do, it's just not good enough for some of the people around us. I think that's really, it could have just been a one-off line, but I think Pathologic especially, although the situations are ones we may never directly experience ourselves, the feelings and like sometimes the feelings of hopelessness and like overwhelming odds against us, I think are very relatable feelings, especially nowadays. And that's what I love about this franchise. But anyways, I'll let what's his face talk.
Live it. Don't worry. Dankovsky ruled the city once. You will too, player.
So, ew, look at that face he gave. Oh, look at that face he's making. Why are you looking at me like that? Also, I won't touch on this super deeply, but there's this like ongoing play metaphor in Pathologic where like it is a little bit fourth wall breaky. It kind of works as a tutorial and also works to allow the game to tell you about itself in a way that isn't game breaking. If you played Classic or even Pathologic 2, you'll notice that like there's a lot of actors, like the people in the black suits with the white masks, and the executors a lot of times, like later in the game, they're obviously servants of you in the play, like they're just plague masks. But earlier on, before the plague even gets there, they're hanging out and they're just there to tell you like about the game, about what's going on in the game. Like a lot of times these people or these characters are just so like they speak in riddles sometimes, but the riddles are telling you about the themes of the game, especially about what's going on in that game. There's also a play every night that's like, hey, this is what happened today. And like Pathologic is such an intensely like real experience, I feel like sometimes, but there's also this very surreal experience of like, oh yes, this is all a play. I am an actor. Like when you die in Pathologic 2, it's framed as, oh, the next actor is taking the stage to take over your role. Like it's this very like meta fourth wall-y thing, but it's really, really cool. So I think that's a little bit too of what they're alluding to here, where it's like, don't forget, you're just a player or you're just an actor who's taking over the role of Mr. Dankovsky. Like, I think there's a bit in the Pathologic 3 demo when he dies where they touch on this too. So, but I need him to stop looking at me like that. Or it could just be like them trying to create hype in a cool moment because, like, I don't really know if this guy is like head of the theater, really. I'm saying that. I'm trying to make fun of him. I know he's not. Don't come for me. I know he's not. I know that's Mr. Immortal, but ugh. January 9th. That's crazy. That's right in the middle of my holiday. So very cool. Thank you, Pathologic. Thank you, IPL. But anyways, that is the Politician trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Before we go any further, I want to say thank you to all of the Patreons who have subscribed to the Patreon, or the patrons who have subscribed to the Patreon and have helped support me while I make this video. It means a lot, guys. Thank you for your continued support. If you're interested in hanging out with me and other Pathologic homies and Discord, we would love to see you there. I also am a little more consistent with posting stream times and stream schedules and YouTube stuff there as well. Also, if you want to join and become a member, you also get early access to YouTube videos, much like our patrons of the Patreon do. So, very cool. But now that the housekeeping is out of the way, do you agree with me? Did you see something in the Politician trailer that I didn't touch on? Please let me know in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of a different style than the videos I normally record. Normally, the videos I record are very, like, edited. But honestly, dudes, even a 10 or 15 minute video with my editing style would take me about 5 to 6 hours, sometimes 6 to 7, depending on, like, if I can find the right footage that I'm looking for. So I'm trying to find a way to record the content that I love recording, but also make it a little more manageable and not make it feel like every single video is like an uphill battle just to get out. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.